الحمد لله وكفى والصلاة والسلام على النبي المصطفى سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to the Jewels from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And our topic for tonight is each and every person, or I would rather say man, will be questioned for whatever ni'mah Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has bestowed upon him. Ni'matul basar, ni'matul sam', ni'matul kalam, ni'matul jism. All the ni'mas that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given to us, the ni'mah of the sight, the hearing, we're able to talk, we're able to touch with our hands, we're able to walk, we're able to sleep, we're able to, digest the food. All this ni'mah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will ask us, will question us regarding them. Now, for every gift that came from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will take us to task regarding those ni'mah. So it's very, very important that whatever we have, number one, we should make shukr to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for whatever we have. And that it did not come to us because of our intelligence, because I have a degree, that's why I managed to buy this house. How many people do not have degrees and they are owning mansions? How many people do not have degrees and they've got a lot of money and wealth? So, ni'mah comes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Whatever you have, whatever I have, it came from Allah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, huwa al-mu'ti. The giver is Allah. The taker is Allah. Honor comes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Respect comes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Disgrace comes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. La ilaha illallah. There is none worthy of worship besides Allah. Allah ta'ala just wants us to acknowledge His ni'mah upon us. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَفِي أَنفُسِكُمْ أَفَلَا تُبْصِرُونَ. Look at your own selves. Don't you see my signs? Look at your own selves. Don't you see my signs? How many times we go to sleep, we just put our body on the bed and what happens? 1, 2, 3 minutes, we gone. We are snoring. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who makes us to sleep. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who makes us to get up in the morning. When we sick, Allah ta'ala tests us with sickness. When we are healed, shifa, and cure comes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So it's very much important for us to acknowledge the ni'mah, to make shukr to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the ni'mah, and to know how to use this ni'mah or this gift properly in the way that pleases Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is happy, He announces His happiness to Jibreel alayhi salatu wasalam. He says, Ya Jibrilu, inni uhibbu fulanan fa'ahibba. Oh my beloved angel Jibreel. And Jibreel alayhi salatu wasalam is the chief archangel, the chief malak, the angel, the greater angel of all the malaika. Now, with 600 wings, the angel that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has entrusted the message coming from Allah to all the prophets, Jibreel alayhi salatu wasalam. So he says, Ya Jibreel, O Jibreel, inni uhibbu fulanan, I love so and so fa'ahibba. You should also love him. And this is because you love Allah. You do for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, whatever you are doing, you're doing to make Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala happy. So when you make Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala happy, He becomes happy with you. And He makes this announcement to Jibreel. Ya Jibreel, inni uhibbu fulanan. Oh Jibreel, I love Muhammad. I love Hussein. I love Fatima. I love Sakina. I love, fa'ahibba. You also should love him. So Jibreel alayhi salatu wasalam, he starts loving you. And Jibreel alayhi salatu wasalam, he makes the announcement to all the malaika, the angels in heaven, the angels in this dunya, on mountains, angels in the sea, angels carrying the arsh of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Kiraman katibin. Now, kiraman katibin. Those two angels on our shoulders. One angel on the right shoulder, the other angel on the left shoulder. Malakul Maut, Munkar and Nakir. All the angels of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they start loving you because you love Allah and Allah loves you. Allahu Akbar. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala love us. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put His love or love for Him into our hearts. Say Ameen ya Rabbal Alameen. Now, we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to put His love into our hearts. And my dear brothers and sisters, let us teach our children the love of Allah. We teach our children to start loving Allah from now. Whenever we buy them toys, you should say to your child that, you know what? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has used me as means for you to have these toys. Whenever we finish eating, let us teach our children to thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the food. Anything good that happens to the child, you must link him to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that child of yours will become a pious child, and upon your death, he will become your sadaqatun jariyah, continuous charity, continuous sadaqah. Now, why? Because you have taught him the right way. The hadith says, whenever a person dies, whenever a person passes away, all his deeds come to an end, illa min thalathin, except 3 deeds. Now, one is وَوَلَدٌ صَالِحٌ يَدْعُو لَهُ, that pious child who will continuously make dua for his late parents. رَبِّ ارْحَمْهُمَا كَمَا رَبَّيَانِ صَغِيرًا. O my beloved Allah, shower your mercy upon my father and my mother. Shower your mercy upon my beloved parents, the same way they looked after me with kindness when I was still small. Teach this to your children. Teach the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to your child. And that, inshaAllah, will become a means for your entry into Jannah. Will become the means for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect you, to remove the punishment in your grave, and you will live in peace until you meet Him on the day of Qiyamah. All the ni'mas that came from Allah, Allah Ta'ala will ask us regarding this ni'mah. Inna sam'a wal basara wal fu'ada kullu dhalika kana anhu mas'ula. Inna sam'a, the hearing, the sight, the hearts, every ni'mah, all this ni'mah, kana anhu mas'ula, the person will be questioned regarding this ni'mah. How did you use the ni'mah of the eyes? Did you use your eyes to look into the book of Allah, to recite the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to study the ahadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam? Or you use this ni'mah of sight to watch or to look onto haram? Now, Allahu Akbar. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, ثُمَّ لَتُسْأَلُنَّ يَوْمَئِذٍ عَنِ النَّعِيمِ, that on the day of Qiyamah, each and every one of you will be asked regarding the na'im, regarding the gift that came from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم لا تزول قدم عبد يوم القيامة حتى يسأل عن عمره فيما أفناه وفي رواية عن شبابه فيما أبلاه. On the day of Qiyamah, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said that the person's feet will never move an inch until Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will ask him with regarding to his life, or with regarding to his youth life, how did he spend in this dunya? Now, this life that Allah Ta'ala is giving to us, Allah Ta'ala will ask us, how did we spend our life in this dunya? If we spent our lives in the worshipping of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then we will become amongst the successful ones. But if we spend our lives disobeying Allah, that will be against us on the day of Qiyamah. We will cry and cry and cry and wish to come back to this dunya and do exactly as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted us to do, and go back to Allah in the condition that He'll be happy with us. But that is not going to happen. Once we have left this dunya, no coming back until Qiyamah. So we will say on the day of Qiyamah, رَبِّ ارْجِعُونَ لَعَلِّي أَعْمَلُ صَالِحًا فِي مَا تَرَكْتُ. Oh my Allah, oh my beloved Allah, take me back to the dunya in order for me to do good deeds in whatever I have left behind. Wallahi, it's going to be very late. So the feet of the person will never move an inch until Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asks the person regarding his life, how did he spend his life in the dunya. This life is ni'mah. Life is a creation of Allah. This soul that is inside this body is a creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this soul should be nourished with iman, should be nourished with the dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It should be nourished with good deeds to keep it alive. So when the soul is alive because of iman, then the entire body will respond to that life. And the person will be so close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So inshallah, we'll take a short break, inshallah, and we will continue with this beautiful hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. See you after the break. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back to the Jewels from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And our topic for tonight, it's a very, very, very important topic. On the day of Qiyamah, the person will never move from his spot or his place until Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asks him few very, very important questions. Now, and we spoke about the first question that the person will be asked on the day of Qiyamah, and that was regarding his life, how he spent his life in the dunya. Now, number two, وَعَنْ عِلْمِهِ فِيمَا فَعَلَ فِيهِ. وَعَنْ عِلْمِهِ فِيمَا فَعَلَ فِيهِ. The person will be asked with regarding to the knowledge he has acquired. How did he spend or he used his knowledge? Now, you are an alim. You have memorized the Quran. You know the ahadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Are you doing the right? Are you fulfilling the right of this knowledge? Are you fulfilling the right of the Quran that you have memorized? Are you fulfilling the right of the ahadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam? Are you teaching the people? Are you teaching your family? Are you reciting the Quran every day? Are you revising the ahadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and pass it on to those who do not know? Now, this knowledge is an amana. The knowledge is an amana. Any knowledge. If you are a doctor, now, how are you using your knowledge to benefit the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Wallahi, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will ask us how we have, how we use this knowledge, our knowledge. Now, you are a doctor. Did you use that for the benefit of the deen of Allah? You are a teacher. Now, whatever is your profession, on the day of Qiyamah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will ask you, how did you utilize your profession for my deen? And you can help, this deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to spread, even if you're not physically going into the field of teaching the people, but you can financially support this deen. You can financially support the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grow. Now, and sometimes we think that this deen needs us. Wallahi, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can bring other people who can do a better job on spreading the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala than us. We are the ones who are in need of this deen. We are the ones in need of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We are the ones in need of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the knowledge that we have, we must use this knowledge, for the deen of Allah, to help the spreading of the deen. Now, if you're an alim, go out there and teach the ummah. The ummah is at lost. There's so much chaos happening in this dunya. Everything is calling against Allah. Our children are getting misled with so much fitna that is spreading in our midst. Our wives, their husbands, children, parents. Why? Because fitna is too much around us. Now, hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says, "Satakunu fitanun كقطع الليل المظلم يصبح الرجل مؤمنا ويمسي كافرا ويمسي مؤمنا ويصبح كافرا يبيع دينه بعرض من الدنيا." There will be so much fitna, so much tests and tribulations. Now, كقطع الليل المظلم, like a portion of a dark night. When it is dark outside there, you cannot see. You want a lamp, you want a light for you to be able to see the way. Now, so the light that we are looking for, or the light that will help us to find the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is the light of Iman. Is the only light that can bring us closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When Iman is in the heart, then everything becomes easy. Now, you will find Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, so the person will wake up in the morning, because the fitna will be so much, the person will get up in the morning as a believer, but when the night comes, he is a disbeliever. Now, wa na'udhu billah. Or the night will come in the condition that the person will be a believer, will have Iman, but during the night, he will engage in those deeds that will take him out of Islam. So the morning comes, he is a kafir, wa na'udhu billah. We have to be very, very, very careful on what we do. We have to be conscious of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala at all times. We have to bring the deen alive in our homes. Quran should be recited in our homes. A hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam should be read in our homes. So the deen has to be made alive in our homes in such a way, or in such a manner, that when we go out there, the outside environment will not affect our Iman. We have to be the ones making a difference outside there. That when people look at us, they will see the signs of existence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They will see the signs of Iman. And they will want to become like us. Look at the Sahaba of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. When they went all over the world, they spread, into this dunya, bringing the people, all spreading the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. People will look at them and say, you know what? We want to be like them. We want to be like them. Why? Because their hearts were filled with Iman. They had the most beautiful akhlaq. Because of that, the people wanted to be like them. So my dear brothers and sisters, this is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to ask us on the day of Qiyamah regarding the knowledge which He has given to us. How did we spend this knowledge? How did we benefit the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with this knowledge? خَيْرُ النَّاسِ أَنْفَعُهُمْ لِلنَّاسِ. The best amongst people are those who are beneficial towards others. With your knowledge, my dear brothers and sisters, you can benefit your neighbors. You can benefit your families. You can make a difference in this dunya. Now, you can make a difference in this dunya. Use your knowledge, use your profession to spread the deen of Allah, to help the deen of Allah. In tansurullaha yansurukum wa yuthabbit aqdamakum. If you help the deen of Allah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will help you, and He will make your feet firm on the deen. So much so that when you die, malaika will come and give you good news. إن الذين قالوا ربنا الله ثم استقاموا تتنزل عليهم الملائكة ألا تخافوا ولا تحزنوا وأبشروا بالجنة التي كنتم توعدون نحن أولياؤكم في الحياة الدنيا وفي الآخرة ولكم فيها ما تشتهي أنفسكم ولكم فيها ما تدعون. You remain firm on deen. You pass the knowledge of deen to the ummah. Malaika will come to you at the time of death. They will say to you, Allah takhafu. Don't fear the punishment of Allah. Do not fear the punishment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In your qabr, you will have peace. Allah ta'ala will give you life of peace in your qabr, in your grave. On the day of Qiyamah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give you the book of your deeds in your right hand. On the day of Qiyamah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make you to cross the sirat, the bridge, in a blink of an eye, in the speed of a lightning. On the day of Qiyamah, my dear brothers and sisters, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make you to enter Jannah bighayri hisab. The doors of Jannah will be opened. Now, وَسِيقَ الَّذِينَ اتَّقَوْا رَبَّهُمْ إِلَى الْجَنَّةِ زُمَرًا. Those who feared Allah, they will come into Jannah in groups. حَتَّى إِذَا جَاءُوهَا. And when they come to the doors of Jannah, وَفُتِحَتْ أَبْوَابُهَا. The doors of Jannah will be opened by the angels, the security guard angels. وَقَالَ لَهُمْ خَزَنَتُهَا Salamun alaykum. And those angels, security angels, will greet you with salam. My dear brothers and sisters, this is the glad tidings for you. Salamun alaykum. Tibtum. Peace unto you. You have done well in the dunya. Fadkhuluha khalidin. Enter into Jannah and stay forever and ever. In Jannah, whatever your hearts desire, you will get. Whatever you want in Jannah, you will get. In this dunya, sometimes you need to work hard to get whatever you want. Now, sometimes you get and sometimes you don't get what you want. But in Jannah, whatever your heart desires, that you'll get from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, so again, how did you spend your life in this dunya? Now, that will define your akhirah. If you spent your life in this dunya, now, for the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that will be a means for you to be successful in akhirah. If you spent your knowledge to spread the deen of Allah, to help the deen of Allah, that will be a means of your success in Jannah. If you spent your wealth for the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that will be a means for your success in akhirah. Imagine you supported an orphan. That orphan became a hafidhul Quran. That orphan became a doctor, and today he is helping, people for the sake of Allah. You never met that orphan. You helped the organization that was looking after that particular orphan. And that orphan became a hafiz, became a teacher, became, a doctor. And he has helped so many people. On the day of Qiyamah, that orphan will come and testify on your favor and say, Ya Allah, I became an alim because of this person. This person supported me as I was studying, as I was memorizing the Quran, As I was memorizing your book, Ya Allah, enter this person into your Jannah. This will be, inshallah, a success for you because you have done this for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive me. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive you. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive our families, those who have passed away, and those who are not our families as well, who have passed away. Allahumma aghfir lahum warhamhum wasakinhum fil jannah. Allahumma ja'al quburahum rawdatan min riyadil jannah. Allahumma tajawaz an sayyi'atihim ya arhamar rahimin. Until we meet again, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.